When you step on board, a different world begins. The moment we step onto a cruise ship, it feels like we're entering a floating city. Buffets, pools, smiling staff, and a whole lot of ocean views. But for the crew, it's not just a vacation spot. It's home, workplace, and sometimes even a little bubble separated from the rest of the world. Every smile, every greeting, every small gesture you see from them isn't random. It's part of a well-oiled system built on hidden rules that keep everything running smoothly. These rules aren't in any handbook passengers get to read. They're whispered traditions, quiet expectations, and shared understandings that crew members live by every single day. And believe me, these unspoken codes are the reason your cruise feels so seamless. Behind the laughter and cocktails, there's structure, a rhythm that never breaks. Because when you're living and working with thousands of people on a ship far from land, order isn't just important, it's survival.
The invisible hierarchy that keeps everything in check. Now, you might think everyone on board is just one big team, right? Well, yes and no. There's actually a very defined hierarchy running beneath all those friendly good mornings. The chain of command is sacred at sea. Crew members don't just report to anyone. They report to someone specific, based on rank and department. This structure isn't about ego. It's about safety and efficiency. When something goes wrong, like a medical emergency or an unexpected storm, there's no time to debate who's in charge. Everyone knows their role, who to listen to, and when to act. Even socializing respects this structure. For instance, junior crew members may not casually hang out with officers, especially in public areas. It's a quiet, respectful boundary that maintains discipline and professionalism. And yet, despite this structure, the crew has an incredible sense of community. You'll often see them laughing together in the crew mess, sharing stories from back home, or celebrating small milestones. But once they step out in front of guests, it's all business again. Smiles on, uniforms crisp, energy up. That's the unspoken rule. Professionalism first, always.
Always smile, even when exhausted. Here's something you might not realize. No matter what's happening behind the scenes, the crew must always appear cheerful. That's one of the golden rules. The guest experience comes first, no matter how tired, homesick, or stressed they might be. It's part of what makes cruising so magical. You could be walking down the deck at midnight and still get a warm "good evening" from a crew member who's been working since sunrise. But that smile doesn't mean they're never tired. It means they understand the importance of atmosphere. On a cruise, energy is contagious. Guests pick up on mood, and the crew knows it. Some lines even have smile checks, where supervisors observe how the staff interacts with guests. Not in a creepy way, more like a reminder that the vibe on board starts with them. Because if the crew seems happy, guests will be happy too. And that's the secret sauce of a successful cruise.
No passenger romance, a rule that's harder than it sounds. One of the strictest and most well-known hidden rules among crew is no romantic relationships with passengers. It might sound like something straight out of a movie plot, but in reality, it's a serious offense. Cruise lines see it as a huge professional boundary. Even harmless flirting can lead to disciplinary action or even dismissal. Why? Because it's all about keeping professionalism intact. When you're living where you work and your office is full of vacationers who've had one too many cocktails, the line between work and play can get blurry fast. So the rule is there to keep things respectful and drama-free. That said, friendships do happen. Crew members often make lifelong bonds with passengers who come back year after year. but they always know where the line is, and they're trained to keep it there.
The secret world below deck. While we get to enjoy the open decks, pools, and endless buffets, the crew lives in an entirely different world below our feet. It's a maze of narrow hallways, tiny rooms, and workspaces that passengers never see. This area, often called the I-95, after the long hallway running through it like a highway, is where everything happens: laundry, staff dining, storage, maintenance, and logistics. It's not glamorous, but it's the heart of the ship. Crew members share small cabins, often with little privacy, and still manage to keep things spotless and efficient. Down there, life runs on strict schedules. Every minute is planned, every role defined. And yet, despite the long hours, there's a real sense of family. Birthdays are celebrated with whatever they can find, laughter fills the narrow corridors, and after shifts, everyone comes together like one big floating neighborhood.
Never break the uniform code. If you've ever noticed how crisp and coordinated crew uniforms always look, that's not luck. It's another hidden rule. Appearance matters a lot at sea. Crew are expected to look polished and professional at all times. A wrinkled shirt or missing name tag might sound minor, but it's actually taken very seriously. The uniform isn't just clothing, it's part of the brand. It signals authority, organization, and pride. Some lines even have rules about how hair should be styled, what jewelry is acceptable, and how shoes should look. Crew members take that seriously because they understand it's not about vanity, it's about representing something bigger than themselves. The cruise line's image depends on those details, and every crew member plays a role in upholding it.
The 24/7 alert rule. Even when they're off duty, crew members are technically never completely off the clock. Every person on board has an emergency duty: fire, evacuation, first aid, you name it. That means if an alarm sounds at 3 a.m., they drop everything and report to their assigned station. It's an unspoken commitment they live with every day. The ocean doesn't wait for anyone, and emergencies can happen anytime. So they're trained constantly, running drills that might seem repetitive to us, but could mean the difference between chaos and calm during an actual crisis. What's fascinating is how calm and collected they stay, even in stressful moments. That quiet confidence you see during muster drills or announcements, that's muscle memory built from those hidden routines that guests rarely think about.
No complaining in front of guests. One of the golden unspoken rules: never complain where passengers can hear you. Whether it's about long hours, a demanding guest, or missing home, crew members keep it private. The goal is always to protect the illusion of ease and luxury that makes cruising so special. It's not that they're emotionless. It's that they understand the environment they're part of. Guests are there to relax, to escape reality for a while, and crew members take pride in making that possible. Even when they're running on just a few hours of sleep, they maintain that same cheerful professionalism. But below deck, where they're among friends, it's a different story. That's where they vent, joke, and unwind, because everyone there gets it. It's the balance that keeps them going.
Respect for each other's space. When you live in a cabin the size of a walk-in closet, personal space becomes sacred. Crew members learn quickly to respect one another's routines. A simple knock before entering, keeping noise low after shifts, or labeling fridge items, it's all part of their unwritten code of courtesy. Because when your home is a shared cabin on a ship in the middle of the ocean, small gestures mean everything. This rule keeps peace and harmony on board, especially when crew come from dozens of different cultures, languages, and backgrounds. It's a quiet understanding that helps them survive the grind together and form friendships that last long after they leave the sea. Always know where you are, even without seeing land. One interesting rule most guests don't know is that crew members must always be aware of the ship's position
and heading. It's part of safety training. Even if they're not navigators, they're expected to know what time zone the ship is in, when the next port is, and which side faces land. That awareness can be crucial during emergencies or drills, but it also builds a deeper connection between crew and ship. They don't just work there, they understand its heartbeat. They know how it moves, when it hums louder, when it's calm, and when something feels off. That intuition often prevents small issues from becoming big problems.
Cultural respect is everything. Cruise ships are floating nations. Crew members come from all over the world, over 60 nationalities, sometimes more. So one of the unwritten rules is mutual respect for every culture and belief on board. There's no room for judgment or bias. This cultural mix creates one of the most unique workplaces on Earth. Festivals from multiple countries are celebrated together, and you'll hear 5 different languages in a single hallway. That sense of unity, despite diversity, is what makes the crew community so strong. They might be away from home, but together they create one.
How they keep it all together. So how do they do it? How do thousands of people live and work in such tight quarters for months without losing their minds? The answer lies in those hidden rules. They create structure, predictability, and respect in a space that could easily become chaotic. Everything we enjoy as guests, the perfect dinner, the smooth entertainment, the sparkling hallways, exists because the crew quietly follows these invisible codes every single day. They might not talk about them, but you can feel their effects everywhere you go. Next time you're on a cruise, take a moment to notice the little details: the friendly greeting, the organized service, the calm in a storm. Behind all that, there's a team that lives by unspoken rules so we can enjoy a perfectly carefree vacation.